Welcome back to the B1 and B Phil podcast. We got the guys, we got the gang, my bros, we got Ghost,
Yo,
we got Wes,
hey,
we got Ace,
what's up?
and we got myself, of course, Lando. How we all doing? How we all feeling today?
Not surviving.
Hey. Before we, get into the topics, in full transparency, it has been like a little break for us, but we back at it. But before we hop into topics and everything, is there anything we want to get off our hearts? Anything we want to get off our chests?
I was just curious. Question for Ghost. How new was?
Without spoiling anything,
I haven't seen it. I got some spoilers to say.
it was great. The only review-esque thing I'll say is that it was an excellent adaptation, and that the things I liked were book related. Like they brought everything in from the book in great. The things I didn't like were also things I didn't like of the book.
From the book?
But, yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. So the movie didn't bring in anything that you didn't like. It was all book related.
I won't say yay or nay on that because y'all can when y'all end up watching it, you can have your own judgment. But it was a great movie.
Cool.
Nice. There y'all go. We just gave out a nice little free, warm and filled movie review. Brought you by Ghost. Man, real quick, and I just gotta say, and it's kind of related to the fact that, it has been a little second since we did this podcast, but the last week and a little change, I definitely wasn't in the greatest space. It just kind of seemed like a whole bunch of things were kind of happening at once, and things are kind of crashing. But I definitely reminded myself, or I had to remind myself that no one can pick you up like yourself. Now I'm back, and I kind of feel like better than ever.
Nice.
So yeah. But obviously don't want to get through talking about myself. So let's look at these topics. And the first joint I want to just quickly talk about, and it's not no link. There's a million and one articles about it. No, I just gotta say, the quick rest in power to the concert goers that passed away at the Travis Scott concert, which is kind of a wild headline, but it is 2021. Yeah, and honestly, like I said, there's a whole bunch of articles on it, a whole bunch of lawsuits piling up. I don't know if y'all saw some of the footage from those from the concerts, but it was what it was. The only kind of take I have from it, and I don't want to spend too much time on it or make it too much about me, and y'all know me and my feelings toward concerts. That's kind of part of the paranoia why I probably wouldn't ever be in a situation like that. Too many people, too many vibes that are on something else, too loud. It's just not.
Agreed.
It's just not for me. But yeah, again, rest in power. Y'all got anything? Any takeaways from that situation?
No, not really.
hear something wild about Travis Scott. This is kind of tangential and not to detract from the message, but apparently T-Pain was going on about Travis Scott and just talking about him because I guess they work together.
True indeed.
And he was saying that Travis, he was in the studio and they were linking and working on something, and I guess Travis and his crew got tired, and one moment he was working on something.
Oh, and he fell asleep or something like that?
Moment, yeah, they all fell asleep.
Oh, I heard that story before.
But Travis Scott was standing up when he fell asleep.
Oh.
It was like,
That's some type of demonic.
The legendary. I've obviously not fallen asleep, but I've passed out while standing. That's when I was in college, for sure.
Alright, you going on a list too then.
Jesus Christ.
but no, I mean, with all the stuff that people are saying about him, it was just like a weird thing to find out. It's like, it's kind of strange.
No, I think I heard that story too before. It definitely is strange to say the least. But yeah, more will be revealed about that situation. Like I said, a whole bunch of lawsuits. I heard this super unfortunate story. This poor girl got brain damage after getting trampled. Oh, I don't wait. Anyway, yeah. So, let's move on. Get into the not the first topic, but the first link. And it's definitely a departure from anything serious. Like, even though there's some serious conversations that could be had from all this, I definitely don't want to get too full of ourselves with this. So, as y'all may have peeped, and honestly, this is kind of like past. This is like a big deal, like 3 weeks ago, however many. So, I like the fact we're talking about it now because, I don't like talking about stuff that's, getting hyped up. But red flags. Everybody's been talking about red flags. This is a red flag. That's a red flag. If he does this, red flag. If she does that, red flag.
Wait, is that actually a thing?
We are gonna go through it because so to the Shade Room, they compiled a couple of posts that people were posting. So I probably won't be able to accurately describe this in the video or in like the anchor link. But basically, we're about to go through a couple of things people determine are red flags. Imagine this is all up and down the feed. When we're looking at this, just every post is a comment and a whole bunch of red flags. So we'll go through these ones that they compiled, and then we'll kind of talk about. First of all, if we truly consider these examples red flags, and maybe some things that we consider red flags of our own. And I think I have another question about it, but yeah, if it's possible, let's go through these real quick. So the first one, and y'all know I told you about this. I think I was the originator of this. When somebody says Grand Rising, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag.
Yep.
This is kind of like a deeper conversation I could get into, and I don't want to get into it. So it's simply gonna say, I'm simply gonna say, if someone says to you Grand Rising instead of good morning, yes, it's a red flag. I agree with that. Y'all agree?
100%.
I agree.
There you go.
I didn't know this was a thing.
No, you're a fortunate man.
Says this.
I don't want to call anybody out their name, but somebody that doesn't want you to rise. they have very ill intentions. Go over to the next. All right, so if someone says, all right, believe what you want to believe, red flag. I kind of feel like I might have said that in the past, so I can't 100% co-sign that. But it's not the greatest thing to say if someone's accusing you of lying. Is that a red flag, y'all?
I mean, I'm not so strong on that one. I think it's a either or. It's not necessarily a red flag.
True indeed. And honestly, some of these are a little more like silly than others, so it's not nothing to get too hung up on. Let's skip that one. I don't even know what they're talking about. If someone says, I don't F with her, she just doing that to make you mad. So it would probably be of a guy telling that to a girl. By the way, the other woman is just trying to make you mad, by the way. She is 100% trying to make you mad.
She is, but
Like,
if you
it is
like,
like,
it's no red flag.
yeah. Keep going. DM, if you DM somebody a picture with heart eyes instead of commenting, it's a red flag.
I wouldn't say a red flag. You tried a little too hard with it, but
I'm guessing this is a stranger.
Yeah.
Implying that you, on the sneak tip, you don't want potential significant other to see you commenting.
By the way, that's just how people shoot. This is how people shoot. This is how people shoot their shot these days. That's what I
think it is. I don't think it's necessarily that you're trying to hide anything. I think they're just saying it's a bad way to shoot your shot.
Yeah, it's just a bad way to shoot your shot. Not a red flag, but
I mean, maybe it is because women would have more experience with that. But
yeah, true indeed.
I don't know.
So another person said, "Love you" without the I, or love you. Do you have a problem with this? I've heard people speak. I've heard people speak to this in IRL.
Love you. If somebody just says
love you instead of I love you.
What?
They're saying it means it's a different meaning. Which love you it's got a weaker connotation to it.
No, this is not a red flag.
Okay,
wait. I don't know if it's a red flag. It could be a red flag if.
Yes, I was about to say
But if they say I love you at any point, then they say love you. Like, I think they mix it up. It is what it is. But if they never said I love you, I guess.
I think it's because we're guys, and we wouldn't care one way or another. But I think you gotta think of it like this: if you said I love you to somebody, and then they responded with love you, they didn't respond with I love you too. They said love you. You wouldn't feel any type of way. You wouldn't like. Wait, what did you say?
That's
or even love you too.
Love you, come on, y'all.
I mean, I
think y'all kind of reaching.
No, I think I get it.
I kind of get it. I'm not gonna lie.
I think I get it.
Y'all stretching.
If they exclusively don't use the I, and this is silly and perhaps childish, but I get why she said it.
Just not a whole bunch.
Coming out of the words are coming out of their mouth though. It's not like it's saying, "Oh, someone loves you, but not me." Like,
not issues.
It's not a bunch of red flags, but it might be. It might be one. Yeah. Keep going, Ace. Some of these are kind of do with the question. Oh my God! On my kids. My Lord! Lord! If someone says on my kids, I feel bad for them kids. That's woof. A red flag, a red siren goes off in my head when I hear that. This is applying to a girl. This next one. If she says brother with a whole bunch of R's and hard eyes, she don't think of that brother as a brother. That's just what it is. Sorry. Don't need to spend too much time on that. That is what it is. If someone says send me some pics, people don't like to get that. That's red flags. And I don't think guys get that as often as women, so that might be another thing that's kind of, we can relate to. But if someone said send some pics to any of us or to most people out of nowhere, that would probably that's what. Send you a pickle. What?
I think guys should rarely, actually probably never ask.
That's like the worst way to shoot your shot.
I'm not even.
Worse.
Well, yeah.
You're talking about if you're talking about randomly or to a person you don't really know.
Yeah, random.
Mostly, but I think in general, a guy should avoid asking.
I kind of.
Most, yeah.
You kind of giving out game there, but yeah, you're kind of right.
Yeah. In almost every circumstance, if the person sends a picture of their own will,
No, their own volition.
or if they ask you, then it opens it up. But in general, I don't think you should be asking. As a guy, you should ask.
When he's right, he's right. When he's right, he's right. Is there any more? Ace? Oh yeah, there's still a couple. There's still a slide. Let's see.
Oh.
You're gonna hate me.
Yep. I agree. Immediate block.
So I might not understand this one.
Basically, you had an arrangement with someone.
Oh.
They flaked on you, and then you're gonna hate me. Especially with that emoji. No, immediate block. Immediate block. Don't entertain it for a second.
I get you. That makes 100%. The problem is I give people the benefit of the doubt because,
like, if you can't make it to something, that's cool. But this specific phrasing, and every time you see that, you know, some BS is going on, and they're gonna come with some, oh, I overslept. No.
Yeah.
Immediate block.
I get it, but yeah, I get it. So and then this last one, pardon me. Text slow, but always on social media. That probably got a lot of reposts because a lot of people did not like that. Oh, there are more? Oh, my bad.
That one's fine for me. Not fine, but
I'm not.
Understandable.
I've never been. You gotta text me fast. Like, it makes the conversation more enjoyable, quote unquote. But I don't care.
I'm probably not gonna see you on social media anyway. So.
When he doesn't know how to use the right, your. Man, grammar police on.
Relax. The person tweeting this is a red flag.
Well, yeah, I don't care personally, but if you're saying doesn't know how to or mixes it up something, or not mixes it up, but like if
you don't know the difference between those, that's absolutely
okay. Yeah.
That's
if you typo it a few times, it's one thing, and if you if you like don't really even think about it, then that's
yeah. If you don't know, then that's is a way bigger problem here. This is whoa.
In general,
yeah, most people know. And my only thing with that is it just depends on the setting. If I'm texting you or even social media, I don't care. But if you're sending like a work email or something like that, your grammar better be on point. Absolutely. It's because Mercury is in retrograde. I don't even mess around with any of that.
Number one. That's my number one red flag.
I don't know anything about Mercury. People be talking about planets and have never taken a science class in college. Nope. Yeah. It looked like a homegirl said that too, which is pleasant to. Let me not get too deep in. There are a lot of these. I didn't know there's so many. Let's go through a little quicker. My mom said, I don't get the context.
Yeah, that's not a red flag, unless I just don't understand.
Yeah.
I would guess you're saying that a guy is saying his mom said something, but
mom's voice? I don't.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't get that.
Two moms. That's all I got. Another one is I don't even F with my baby mama. We just live together.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You can tell yourself that.
Yeah. No, I'm not even gonna mess around with that. Although I do have a hot take about guys and baby moms that we'll talk about one day, but not tonight. Anyway, how much more of these are there? When we gonna link? Oh my, yeah. Like I said, it was all over the timeline the other day. It was crazy. When we're gonna link? That's only a red.
I mean,
that's literally a red flag when you don't want to link with the person.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, there's nothing wrong with it.
If you want to link with that person, that's like not gonna be my car in the shop. What the?
Honestly, this one kind of.
I think that would depend on how often.
Yeah.
I mean,
You need some
when is the
qualifying.
last time that was an excuse for you? Yeah, it's an often thing. Well, people have cars.
Although I mean,
I don't
Uber
know.
is a thing.
Which is true. Or a
I
rental.
think it'd be used in the context of the day they're looking to get a free ride or something like that.
As long as it's not on a consistent basis, that one's cool.
Oh yeah, it's like it depends on the frequency. And honestly, you go through your maintenance every 6 months, so it should be twice a year. 6,000 miles or whatever have you. All right, that's kind of just fly through the rest of these. Don't want to be too. I think at this point most people are red flagged out. As a man, you're supposed to. Some of these, I feel like I'm oblivious. I don't get some of these.
I think that one's like, as a man, you're supposed to do this, that.
Oh, if she's saying that to him, because it's a guy who.
Oh, I was thinking the other way.
I mean, as a man, you're supposed to do some things.
Yeah, that don't look good posting that for him.
Yeah. I don't know about red flag, buddy. Man, some of these really reveal that the conversations people we have, like, some homegirl told that guy, as a man, you're supposed to do that, and he didn't. We wasn't trying to hear it.
People exposing themselves.
This is interesting. I don't know which way this is being presented, but in words, I was asking you, can you cook? Can you build a house? And that motherfucker. So
I'd say yeah, this is one of the red flag.
Yeah, just because it's an annoying back and forth that people have on social media. And by the way, it kind of brings me back. It kind of reminds me of that gender role conversation we had that one time. If you could even equate cooking to building a house, I think that lets you know there's a distinction between the sexes. But I'll leave it at that. Yeah, keep going, Ace. Damn, I forgot my wallet. Yeah, it's a red flag. Because I always say you should never leave your house without your phone, keys, or wallet. You're the one with all the money.
Yep, red flag.
There you go. Can I borrow $20? I don't want to get too deep with this, but when's the last time anyone's asked, besides family, immediate family, when's the last time anyone's asked any of y'all to borrow money?
Outside of people asking on the street, like if you're homeless.
Yeah, and they're not asking to borrow it, by the way.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's been years.
Maybe we just live completely different lives, but that's such a topic on social media, like borrowing money etiquette and when you're returning it and beef people have because they lent people money. I just saw something crazy. Some homegirl lent. This was in the UK, so it was euros or whatever. Some homegirl lent her friend $4K or something, and then she was pressed that the other homegirl wasn't giving it back in a timely fashion.
I'm cool with y'all, but I don't know if I'd be lending y'all $4K like that.
I can't relate. That's it. That's the way.
I feel like it's kind of your fault, like not to victim blame, but
4K.
What you need it for? That ain't rent money.
And the crazy part, going back to this, if you ask me for $10, okay. I mean, I don't want to sound privileged, but what?
Yeah, what kind of borrow? It's not borrow.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm the only one. But yeah, as you can see, people were getting it off their chest, all the red flags that they hear in their life. Again, I can't necessarily relate to all of these. So now that we've seen some examples, real quick, what, if any, red flags? What would y'all consider red flags? If someone said something or did something.
Going back to the horoscope thing, if someone says, "Oh, he's got to be a Taurus, you got to be a Gemini," all that.
If someone says, "What sign are you?"
Yeah,
That's
we're not big on signs around here.
Zodiac
Sorry.
adjacent.
Yeah. You can leave that at home.
Also, the witch and crystal stuff. If you any mention
Crystals,
that,
yeah, that ain't gonna work. Sorry. Even though also that crystal stuff is like, you know, you're doing too much. I mean, you can have a crystal at you, right? that's not wrong with
it.
What?
I mean, to look at, to put a paperweight, yeah, sure.
All right, I don't know. I mean, they are aesthetically pleasing. That's all. I mean, let me not get too deep.
Yeah.
For me, and it's kind of like not necessarily a silly one, kind of more serious. And I saw some really serious ones when I was on timeline, but a big one specifically for women. No offense, or maybe with all offense. Argumentative. Maybe I would extend that to males as well, but it's at this point in my life, a woman that's we'll keep it nice and safe for work. Anybody that's too argumentative, I'm not interested. I argue enough with y'all. I don't know. I'm not trying to beef with nobody else. And then my last one that I was thinking about, which is exclusively for women. Y'all have heard me say this on record. It is what it is. You know, again, no offense, but with all offense, if I go out to dinner with a homegirl, you know, no matter where it is, if she orders chicken tenders, chicken nuggets, and fries, in my head, a red flag is going off. I can't. That's just me. I'm sorry. It's just me.
I'm kind of with you on that one.
It's just me. I'm talking about an adult woman. It's just me. But yeah, y'all got any other red flags?
Nah, it's just the stuff that's coming to mind is more deal breaker type stuff, which
Yeah,
neither here nor there, but not quite red flag material.
yeah. Again, not don't want to get too deep with it, but the other question that came to mind, I think somebody mentioned something along the line of like, everybody was talking about red flags, like y'all see all of these, but at the end of the day, people are still getting finessed, or they're still dealing with people that display these traits, or say these things. Why did this become like a trendy, popular thing if people aren't really even wary of red flags when they see them? What do y'all think? Start with you, Wes.
I mean, everybody has their red flags in their ideal situations, even if they don't adhere to them. I think it's fair to have them, even if you're not really upholding them. But it's a good rule of thumb, even if it filters out one person or two people, then you might fall through on a couple of other. I don't know. I think it's fair.
What about you, Ace? What'd you think about that?
You said why it got popular?
Yeah, why did it get so popular, and why is everyone like talking about red flags and like making it like a big deal, when in reality it seemed like people aren't really even wary of red flags. Like, they don't really avoid the people that say these things or display these traits of.
It's just it's something that's easily catches on, easily viral. Talk about things that you think are red flags. It's almost like saying agreeing on things you don't like with other people.
Got you.
Very easy to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's just like, it's a red flag, but it's not like a stop sign, I guess.
Yeah.
but I mean, I can't really salute anyone in this case. Then I can't necessarily salute everybody that I guess salute everybody that adheres and moves cautiously when they see a red flag. But hey, man, people are gonna do what they're gonna do. Hey, man. But if there's nothing else, we can move on to the next joint. So this headline, and who even put out this story again? I forget who. But an interesting article came across the timeline, and the headline is: single adults have lower earnings than partner adults and are less likely to be employed or economically independent, a new study finds. So, and just in case you wanted another reason not to be single, did I say that right? Yeah, a study came out recently that showed that just what the headline says: single people are on average broker and less essentially they say economically independent, but yeah, and less likely to be employed. Man. And just a little more, the article mentions like a Pew analysis finds a spike in the number of Americans living alone who on average have lower earnings and low in educational attainment. So, I mean, and it was Bloomberg.com, by the way.
What's the reason for this?
The reasoning? It's I think just the nature of being single.
What?
What do you say? Say it, yeah.
No, this is not what I expected.
Yeah, it's definitely it's like a surprising study. And some of the numbers are like nearly 40 of Americans between the ages of 25 and 54 were living without a spouse or a partner in 2019, according to the new analysis of the census data by the Pew Research Center. That's marked an increase from 1990, when 29 Americans were unpartnered. And since then, the economic outcomes for single people have declined relative to those with partners. I mean, there's probably like a million and one reasons why, people with partners are more likely to be a little more successful, wealthy, more positive income. But, yeah, what's my question for this? This is really just bad news.
Incentivize you to...
You know the crazy part? That I think that was along the line of the question I kind of had. Yeah, I guess in general, yeah. What do y'all make of this? And yeah, does this put more of a bat in your back to find you that your partner in life, your significant other in life? What do you think, Ace?
I mean, it's shocking. Like, you earn more money with a spouse? That's shocking.
I think the dynamic of all of this is, obviously you think if you're single, I keep saying signal. If you're single, you think that you have less financial responsibilities, so you are just amassing this wealth all to yourself. But in reality, being single comes with, and some of it's speculation. The article might specify, have their own reasoning, but this is just what I've theory crafted. If you're single, you have less of an incentive to actually build that wealth that you would think that you're generating. Like, i.e., a lot of people, I don't want to make it a past then and now thing, but it is kind of speaking to a present. Back then, a lot of people found their partners in or even before college. So that kind of incentivized them to pursue their education and make sure they can build a positive income family. And that's not to say that single people aren't pursuing education and careers, but they're, and I see that like every day in IRL, people that don't necessarily have any that I don't want to say burden. What's the better word for it? That additional responsibility to bear. I mean, I guess to simply put it, if I got a family and kid at home, I gotta go out and get it. But if it's just me, in theory, it really don't take a lot to sustain just one person. It really don't take a lot to sustain. What do you say? Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, then qualitatively, you may still have the better life being single.
Better in what way?
As far as the net outcome of your well-being, like it's either you're hustling and you end up with more net wealth, or you're not. Or, I mean, not say you're not hustling, but you're single and you're not as worried about supporting a family, and so you end up with less wealth, but you still have less responsibility, and I mean, you still get what you want. Like, it's not like you're poor.
Yes, I guess. Question mark? Do y'all agree with that? Does that make sense to you?
You may have more income and less expenses, meaning that you have less expenses. Also, you're probably striving less, so you might have, because you don't feel that incentive of having to feed other people, so you might have a higher quality of life. But you're also missing.
I just don't get how we get to increase quality of life in what you're describing, and how are we defining quality of life.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying it as stress, basically.
Okay, less stress.
Yeah, less stress, but you don't have the advantages of having a companion and a child, children, a family. Yeah, there's probably a trade-off.
Yeah, and that is actually a decent point. I guess it just might be worth mentioning. Like, this article doesn't really speak to happiness or stress levels. It just kind of speaks to income and increased chances of education. I think it goes back to kind of the example I was talking about earlier. And by the way, even if my reasoning doesn't make sense, it's just the numbers. It literally is more single people aren't going to school opposed to people that have a partner or are partner minded are going to school.
Oh, so it's probably going back to school then?
Or
I guess if
have it in the first place, honestly.
Yeah, maybe if you're partnered up coming out of high school, you go to school. But I don't feel like a lot of people doing that now.
A lot of people don't have partners.
Exactly.
Ghost, you were gonna say something.
Was I? I kind of forgot, but I kind of agree with Ace in that it's very surprising to me. And the trade-off with the like, if you don't have a family, you might make less, but you need less.
Yeah,
it kind of balances out. I think I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that might be like the moral of the story. If you have less, you'll need less. If you have more, you'll need more.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of this is just like a data thing, and it might not be bearing out any actual reasons or anything. But at the same time, I think there's also the motivating factor of a companion. I feel like in an ideal relationship, your spouse should be motivating you to achieve in a lot of ways, so that could be easily reflected in your paycheck. So I don't know. I think that's something to consider as well.
Yeah. So I guess with that being said, I don't know if the moral of the story could be like, if you get into a relationship, you're more likely to be wealthy, because I don't think it's more so get into a relationship, increase wealth. I think is if you are relationship minded, you are more likely to want to increase your wealth. And I don't know if that makes anyone feel better or worse. What I was saying, even if it is just that, I ain't mad at it. I always say I don't know if this is kind of depressing, but it's just the truth. I definitely lack some levels of motivation in life, because I don't got to make sure anyone free. If I go down, it's just me. Anyway. But definitely salute to all the the spouses and the people that have significant others. Nothing wrong with a little stress. What's that expression? Or somebody heard somebody say it once. Stress can make pipes burst, but stress can also turn cold to diamonds. Yes. With that being said, what's the next joint, Ace? This next joint is an article. This is from Jezebel.com. Interesting. And the headline is the spooky, loosely regulated world of online therapy. So this is an article that kind of goes into like the whole landscape of online therapy services, and kind of interestingly, the impact it has like these days, and it kind of gets into some of like the data aspects of it and how it gets into like the data aspects, the policy aspects. But I think you brought this article, Wes. You want to speak to it and what questions, if any, you have?
Yeah. So essentially, the gist of it is that while online therapy, obviously online therapy is blown up in popularity, the stigma is being reduced. So therapy in general is being more widely accepted. But the idea of the article is just saying that, like, especially for like these online companies that are like apps and like really just like based in the tech world, they're obviously, as therapists or as therapy apps or whatever, they have an obligation not to reveal like personal information that's discussed during the therapy with other people. But
in terms confidentiality agreement,
right? But in terms of the app usage and in terms of things like that, so app usage or the source of what caused you to sign up, like let's say you sign up because you got a referral link, or you sign up from some other
referral
website.
link for therapy is a little wild.
Yeah, so like I'm like whatever source it was, like, or maybe you heard something and you use a discount code or whatever. They have information
I've heard that before,
all around you signing up for the therapy. So let's say they find out that your schedule is that you have therapy every Wednesday at whatever 5 p.m. or whatever, whenever you have your sessions. Then they can sell that information, and like I said, all the referral type stuff or discount codes and stuff, where you came from to get that.
Mm-hmm.
They can sell all that information or reveal that information to other tech companies and third parties who want to use that information to either sell you something or persuade you of something. So if you imagine, like, someone knows your therapy schedule, they know when you're essentially reaching out for help,
yep,
which is a potential point of weakness. And so they can put something in front of you that they think will be advantageous to them in whatever way, whether it be selling you an ad, or selling you a product, or maybe like a political view, or whatever they feel they want to push your way. They can look at these things and use that to influence their targeted marketing, etc. So it makes it pretty creepy.
Spooky even.
In the way that they can basically build a profile of people based on these things. And it's been done in other in other ways, and everything you buy and everything you watch is kind of monitored in that way if you're not careful, or if you don't put on certain filters or whatever. But it adds another aspect when it's your actual therapy, which is supposed to be helping you and not taking advantage of you being in a vulnerable condition. So it was just something that I found really interesting. Questions that arise, well, first would be, do you think this is a big deal? And I guess the question about therapy in general, I don't know if anybody has, we've never really broached the topic, but the way it's being destigmatized, I just wonder if everybody thinks that's good or what.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, that's a dope topic. It could go a lot of different ways. Yeah, we'll just start with your questions. Ghost, what do you think? You think it's a big deal?
I wouldn't say it's a small deal, but it's kind of like, it doesn't surprise me in that companies are looking to kind of exploit their customers or consumers however they can, and this is just another way to go about it. It's not good, but I don't really know if I have a takeaway from this. If the question is, should they stop? The answer is yeah, but are they going to? Probably not. And does the maybe some of the additional benefits of online therapy, where you don't have to schedule an appointment and it's a lot more easier?
You don't have to go to your scheduled appointment.
Yeah. Does that offset the negative of they looking at your info and trying to exploit you that way? I think it's kind of a personal preference thing, as weird as it sounds. Like, we're on whatever platform or whatever, like Facebook, Gmail. They're stealing the info somehow.
Yep.
So you can just look at it like they're gonna get it one way or the other. So if they are, then what's the big deal? Which I know a lot of people don't subscribe to that. I kind of do, to an extent. Like, I'm not gonna actively help them get what they want, but
so
some stuff is unavoidable. So I guess that's my take on that aspect of it.
Real quick, let me just put this to you. So if you're
get on them.
To me, there's it's one thing if let's say you're shopping online and companies want to exploit your shopping habits. All right, makes sense. You're trying to sell me stuff. You're trying to match me with products that I am looking for, basically. I get it. But it's kind of another thing if you're exploiting my weak points while I'm trying to improve my mental health. And your marketing.
Can I?
I don't get it.
Can I actually answer this one, Ghost?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta.
Yeah, okay. We might have the same answer. So you said when there's a difference between shopping and when you're doing therapy. Do you not see therapy as a transaction at the end of the day? You are paying for a service, regardless of the ultimate product you get. Did you not just buy something essentially.
You would have a point if you were shopping for therapy and they recommended a different therapist.
I don't necessarily see that as different, but I just wanted to ask that question. It's fine.
That's just my initial reaction. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ghost.
I mean, I get your point, but I think that it comes down to just the principle of it, in that you may not be happy with what they're doing, but kind of like what I said, it's a transaction at the end of the day. You're paying for something to get something in return. So even if they are doing a little too much, you could kind of just say it's whatever. And, like,
I think, okay, I hear you and I get that, but I think that the nefarious aspects of it tend to be a little bit harder to see, and that's fine. I mean, and I get what you mean.
I think we all agree it's not right, or not quote unquote just.
Yeah, but that's for the like, well, one, like the biggest thing is like the ethical implications. Like, okay, do you do this to someone while they're down? Like, is that ethical? No. But can it hurt them, I guess, is the question that would make it more obvious. Okay, this is bad because it can hurt people in this way, in this way, in this way. And it's kind of hard to spell that out. But I think on one hand, like the way that, let's say, medicine is marketed in this country could have an impact on that person if they're getting advertised, certain medication that they shouldn't be.
Oh, if you are paying for therapy, you are 1,000% going to get some antidepressant ads.
Which is what I'm saying.
It's
going
to have this reality.
It may be something that you really don't need, or that could have a million side effects that they're marketing to you while you're down. So I feel like that is one way that the impact could be real. And then I think if you brought it into a real scenario, like, okay, let's say it's like a snake oil salesman for an older person. Like, it's attacking a vulnerability, or somebody's down and you're literally trying to sell them a miracle cure. Like, it's that type of shiesty type of thing where there are a lot of negative implications, but at the same time, I get what you're saying when you say we're all. I mean, everything's monitored and it's gonna happen somewhere. But it's just another aspect that's a little bit more nefarious, I think.
It is more nefarious, but like in that example you gave, I feel like you could kind of say that they would company marketing that type of medicine to you if you're feeling depressed. They could get the info that you're depressed from somewhere else, like you're shopping for books, and they whatever Amazon, whatever site is selling your info, and the company see, oh, they're looking for books on how to treat depression. They could do the same thing that way. Granted, it is made a little easier, and they can target you more specifically in this case, but it kind of going back to the it's gonna happen anyways mindset. There's not a whole lot you can really do, to be honest.
Yeah, and I don't think we're looking for like concrete solutions.
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot you can really do. I think the answer would be, and I think this in particular applies mostly to like the app therapy, or the therapy that are built on apps. I won't name names, but like the tech. Okay.
It's definitely in the article.
What did you say?
The link will be in the description below.
Which is true. But yeah, I think avoiding those could be a step toward avoiding this type of exploitation.
So what are we saying? You're anti-online therapy?
Not necessarily, but I'm definitely thinking twice about it. If I were to consider therapy, because you still have traditional therapy companies that have virtual options, but they aren't so embedded in data and selling your data and big data. And I think there would probably be a less likely option for that type of situation or issue. I think that's a takeaway for me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What's funny is we might be losing a potential sponsor here.
I mean,
So
he just said he has take a look at it, and I'm sure there is that one therapy app out there that they guarantee information will not be sold or used quote unquote nefariously. But going back, when you said earlier, like discount code for therapy, I've definitely heard people give away discount code for therapy, and it's kind of an interesting dynamic that we have in the 21st century. But nah, man, you brought up like a hella amount of good points, and even kind of opened my mind up to some because, like I said, online therapy is like a thing, but yeah, you never really get into the fact that you will definitely get marketed some different things based on how your usage. I don't really have too much. I think you guys kind of got into a lot of the good parts. And I don't want to sucker back and get to and be all negative. The one other thing I will say is that I think it's bigger than the online therapy thing. I think it's a app data thing, because you could not anyone, but different people could apply this level being an ethical issue to different things. Like someone would say I should be able to go on the ESPN app, and I should just be able to use that and nothing gets affected, but I still might get like ads for like the new LeBrons or some basketball shoot or something like that. So yeah, that's the only reason. That's the only thing I say. It's like a bigger issue. I wouldn't just confine it to the therapy apps. I would say it's a whole way data is like used and marketed and just taken. You could just take it and use without your consent of how it's being used.
Yeah,
I still don't get the avatar problem.
So I was gonna say I completely understand like not really being that concerned about like going on ESPN and getting advertised, or I could understand someone who goes on ESPN and is not bothered by being advertised about some sneakers. Like I get that.
Just like somebody could be not concerned with going on therapy out and getting ads about whatever medicine.
Yeah, no, I get that. But because I remember like too, like when I would like watch more skate videos and stuff. I remember even like going on the barracks, and the ads were for some skate product, and dudes were usually skating on the ads, and I'm like, this is fine. Like I don't mind this at all.
Yep.
Because it's very relevant to what I'm actually trying to watch, so it's cool. But the other thing is, like I said, I think it's just you're going to some of that you just have to accept, because it's just one how apps pay for themselves and how tech companies get paid, and two, I feel like there's just certain domains or certain types of apps that are more or feel more uncomfortable to be targeted by. And another one I remember hearing about or watching on something documentary was dating apps. Dating apps have.
Oh, you will get some wild ads if you use dating apps.
They have files.
Not that I know anything about that.
Someone did like a freedom of information request on their dating profile app or dating app profile. I forget what app it was, but the stack of information was literally like 1,000 pages. Like it looked like just reams of computer paper, and it was all on one person's dating app information from like I don't even it might have been a couple of years or maybe less than that. I don't even remember what the time frame was, but they have a stupid amount of data on you, and that also builds a profile of when you're feeling lonely or when you're feeling like you need to reach out to somebody. And so the tech companies have all this information, and if they wanted to use it for whatever, then to build trends, build whatever, they can do whatever they want. And I think the final thing I'll say is I think the concern is more than just being advertised something. I think the concern is also that if it's in the wrong hands, someone can build a profile of you and mess with you in more ways than just advertising to you.
That's
They
true.
can do literally whatever they wanted if somebody got this information. Let's say it's not the tech companies that are holding the information. Let's say it's a hacker.
Yep.
They know your schedule. They know when you're doing this, when you're feeling this, or feeling that. Like, they know quite a lot about you. Or let's say they take that information, impersonate somebody, or they seduce you, or whatever, because they know your tendencies and they'll build a profile on you. Like
You can
they
definitely
can
get
do a lot of.
Black
This
Mirror-ish
is a
real
fantastic
quick.
science fiction plot. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no cap. We might have to save this episode and start working on a book.
But yeah, there's a lot to it, I think.
No, you're right. Like I said, I think it's a bigger issue. It gets real fast. It gets real spooky real fast. Yeah. I think I was gonna say one of the last thing. I think it's already slipped my mind. Yeah, I think of it. I'll bring it back. Y'all got any other things on this article, on this topic? Hey man, definitely if you feel like you're in a space in life where you need to reach out to people, please do. That's one of the moral stories. Regardless of data, regardless of anything else, please do. Oh man, this next topic is not fun. I don't want to say not fun, but not light either. But we don't have to get too deep into it, even though it's impossible. So the article, and who is this by? I like to say who they're by, but sometimes I kind of forget. / www.kswo. That's like a local news station. But the article is, just ABC News. A woman found guilty of first-degree manslaughter. So you hear that article and you think, okay, so some woman indirectly or involuntarily or not premeditatedly killed somebody. But if you read the article a bit, a woman has been found guilty of first-degree manslaughter in Comanche. Come on, guys, y'all gotta help me out on this. Courthouse. The jury returned around 6:30 today with the verdict in Brittany Pollard's case. So that's the woman. The jury began deliberating around 3:45 p.m. The autopsy report stated Pollard's child died at 17 weeks. Gas station. The report showed it tested positive for methamphetamine and another drug in the liver and brain. An OBGYN testified on the stand Tuesday as an expert for the state, and the doctor confirmed the fetus was at the gestational age of about 17 weeks, and that methamphetamine used can affect pregnancy though he said it may not be the direct cause of death for the fetus. So, again, when you first read that headline, you don't know exactly what the case is, but this is a case where this woman is being charged with first-degree manslaughter because the drugs that they used, the woman, either directly or indirectly caused the death of their baby that was in the womb. Honestly, this is so. Life is so complex. You brought the story goes. You get into it a bit more.
Yeah, so obviously it's a pretty brutal story, but I guess it's a good entryway to discuss punishment and essentially is charging this woman who I will say that it was her drug abuse that led to this child's death, so she should be held liable in some way, but is charging her and sending her to prison or jail for this productive in any way? Because she obviously has a problem if she was using while she was pregnant, and even though it led to a tragedy, is it really productive at all to charge her with this manslaughter as opposed to trying to find help for her in some way? Or is there a better way to deal with this, or should she have to deal with the consequences because she was abusing drugs?
So, sorry, I just want to say one thing, one quick thing before we get into this. I do remember what I was thinking about around the time when I first saw this story. And maybe we would have never gotten here, but we are not going to be talking about abortions and things of that nature in any capacity. I'm just making that clear right now. We're not getting into that. But, however, I say that. But one thing I will say is when it comes to that topic and when it comes to situations like this, it just makes me think about how we don't look at. I don't think we look at, from based off all stories I see, we don't look at these stories in abortion with the level of science, for lack of a better term, that maybe we should. I think from what I see, it's a lot of times based off feelings, and I think that's it drastically impacts the way we look at it. That's all I want to say. I can expound more another time, but we're not going to do it for this story. Back to you guys. Yeah, what do you think? What do you think about this, Wes?
There is maybe a factor that I would need to consider, and that is how much intentionality was involved. Obviously not to kill the child, but in terms of, I highly doubt that this woman started using methamphetamines after she got pregnant.
Yes, is that safe to assume they were an addict before?
Yeah, so that means she was addicted, which is not easy to overcome, and so she probably just relapsed or never quit. While it is negligence in a sense, it's also just you can't just kick it. So I don't know how much blame should fall on her in that sense. She also, though, she knew, and again, I don't know what her situation was in terms of when she got pregnant, but
17 plus weeks ago, from the time of this story.
But she also knew her situation when that happened, and so bad decisions sounds like it, but it sounds like she was also dealing with an addiction, which is not easy to just say, oh, She could have just not done this or done that differently. So for it to be murder, yeah, it's pretty bad. I was thinking like if it was a situation where there was no addiction involved and it was negligence on the part of the mother, I can understand wanting to dole out a punishment, but I feel like this is too complicated to just be like she did this on purpose type. Well, I mean, manslaughter is not necessarily an on purpose type sentence, but um, to have a punishment this harsh.
So you don't see it as manslaughter. You see it as, when people have addictions, they can't necessarily just beat that, and you don't necessarily think they should throw the whole book at her.
Yeah, but I mean, manslaughter, I think technically it is. I mean, when you kill someone without the intentionality being there, and
Right.
somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on that definition, but I think that's what I understand.
Yeah, by definition, it is that. Ace, you have any other takes on this?
No, I'm mostly in agreement with Wes. I think this is a pretty clear situation where somebody should get rehabilitation versus just going to jail. I think jail is stupid in general. Just because it breeds criminals, makes you worse than human beings.
It's a fact.
Yeah, this person needs help, not jail. I mean, I guess you can't do drug jail necessarily, but at the same time, kind of can. Still stupid.
Nice. And I say nice because it's not a hot take that I'm saying. Yeah, I don't think somebody that is a drug user should go to jail. Point blank period. I think most non-violent cases shouldn't go to jail, but especially somebody that's dealing with an addiction. That's it. And yeah, and I definitely I have sympathy towards this woman and towards her situation. Yeah, that's the bottom line. And I don't think there's really too much to get further deep into this. But you kind of said something that I want to just go back real quick. You said, I forget what you said, but it kind of made me, what you said kind of brought me to the point of like, so you believe that there are people that are not addicts that use a drug, that are drug users?
Who you talking about?
You was,
Me?
yeah.
Yeah. What?
Just a question. I don't, no need for tones.
No, I was just thinking about it. Yeah, I think so. It depends on the drug because some drugs are highly addictive, and so in her situation, it was the case. But yeah, I think there are. Yeah.
Okay. I think we might dig deep into that one day. That's a whole other. That's kind of a tangent, but I always kind of like to dig deep into that. But yeah, again, it's hard to one situation. I don't think any of us, if we were the jury, we wouldn't send her to jail. But that's life for you.
Nothing much to add. Just
Go ahead.
kind of food for thought. I'm curious if the child died because the mom was a drunk. I think there's a term for like fetal alcohol syndrome or something like that. Would they would still have ruled manslaughter, or was it because meth is?
I think they would have been more inclined to give that type of charge. I don't think people look at alcohol as the same basket as these type of drugs.
So there's also something people with fetal alcohol syndrome can live, and so
people can be born if their mother was a crack user,
which is true too. Yeah. So
Yeah, exactly,
do they punish mothers in those cases? I don't know of stories about any of that, but maybe I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I didn't either, which is why I was interested. And like you said, the whole '80s crack and everything, crack baby generation. I didn't hear about any charges for those parents who ended up giving that to their children, that addiction.
Of course, you didn't hear any charge about that. But you heard all the offsprings go to jail. You heard about that.
Yeah, and it wasn't killing them. I mean,
not
Yeah,
in
but
every case,
yeah,
but a lot of the cases, if a baby's born
in certain
addicted
cases,
to
yeah,
crack,
they have, exactly. They have dependencies, and the hospital has to kind of deal with that.
yeah, but I'm just saying, you're saying you didn't hear about it. That's because it wasn't about manslaughter.
Yeah, but if you abuse a
not
child,
necessarily the child still could have died. And
So what would you expect to hear?
Child
there
endangerment.
were some charges,
I would expect to hear the same thing as this situation, which I haven't. And again, it could just be a gap in my own.
That's the question. I said
That's
I've never
what-
heard
that-
of
yeah,
it.
I
I don't know
don't-
what they do, but I've never heard any.
Are you also asking, should people get charged?
No. I'm just asking.
No, I'm talking to Ghost.
No, I'm not saying they should or shouldn't. I'm more so just
Is it
wondering
about
because,
the actual drug of choice?
yeah, basically.
If we're talking about real life, yes, people look for different drugs very differently. That's just what it is. Oh yeah. Again, sorry to this woman's situation, and just another reminder that I always definitely am in prayer for all women that are carrying and are going through that process, because it's really one of the most important, if not the most important, aspects of human life. But yeah, and just an overall reminder, on the B1 and B Phil podcast, sometimes we get into, it's quote unquote darker stories like this, but we have a balance. Like this next situation coming up. A nice quick clip from that Mike Tyson posted. So it's Mike Tyson ? And I want to say this is from his podcast, but I don't think I think he was on somebody else's podcast. And he gave an interesting take about ego. So let's listen to it and see what we make of it. See if we can garner some wisdom from a former boxing heavyweight champion.
Once your ego goes, holy shit, scared of a bug.
Really?
Yeah,
Goodness.
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So what, you get scared of bugs now?
No, I just don't kill bugs now.
So you find an ant right now on the floor, you're going to pick him up on a napkin, you're going to bring him
No, I'm
outside.
not going to do that,
Leave
but
him
I'm not
alone?
going to step on him.
What?
I'm not going to pick him up. I'm not going to be his lifesaver, but I'm not going to step on him.
Maybe you're going to leave the ant then in the room just crawling around?
Well, he'll get it by. God loves him too.
So what if there's an ant problem, though?
Well, I'm sure God can figure that out.
All right.
Listen, let me explain something to you, Brother Bob.
Yes.
If all those fucking ants died, the world will come to an end?
If all the ants died, would the world come to an end?
No, it will.
Oh, shit. So you got to protect the ants.
No, we have to protect everyone. That's why if there's no butterflies, if there's no bees, the world comes to an end.
Yeah.
If there's no human beings, the world flourishes.
Insightful, to say the least. Yeah. So and that very reaction is the reason why I brought this. Because honestly, when you see some of these clips of Mike Tyson, and kind of just giving his perspective on things in his based off his life experiences. Obviously, we kind of know a bit about Tyson's history, his background. You kind of just absorb it. It kind of goes around in your brain, and then you're like, "Oh, okay." But anyway, yeah, I don't. What was the question I had for this? I mean, we're a quote unquote advice podcast. I don't know if you could fully qualify that as advice, because I don't know if there was an actionable thing to do there. But what do we make of this quote unquote advice? Does it make sense to have this outlook? Is it a bit too?
No, it does not.
Hold on, let's take everything in order. I'm actually curious to hear what you think, Ace. What do you think about ego and letting go of it, and potentially not even thinking bugs are an issue anymore?
I don't really get the connection, but I am in almost 100% agreement with this.
Oh, so you don't kill bugs?
I actually do try not to kill bugs.
Wow, we have someone on the podcast who's enlightened.
That's what I'm like.
Okay, so I mean, if for those that may have not understood, because Mike Tyson has such a way of words, how would you kind of explain the dynamic of ego and letting it go, and how that relates to you no longer feel the need to bust out the raid when you see a bug?
That's what I'm saying. I don't get the connection. For me, it has nothing to do with ego. Like I used to, when I was young, when I was a kid, I used to have no problem killing bugs. And I don't know. Now I just think, why kill it when I can just put it outside?
You don't think that was your ego as a young child telling you that you are superior to this bug, and this bug doesn't even belong in your presence, your household, so I need to kill it?
I mean,
Yeah.
as a little kid, I just wanted to like. I guess you're right. Maybe it did come down to ego. I just wanted to kill stuff, but not like
Whoa. You want to clarify that?
bugs.
I'm just messing with you. And also, I'm being relatively humorous with this all. I don't know. Is there like, is there anything that, and maybe you do understand this now, but is there anything that you don't do or do less of now? I don't want to make it seem like you've gone through this big revelation like he did, but now that you realize that ego is not necessarily a beneficial tool to have, do you feel any? Do you see any differences in your life?
No. I mean, again, it's not connected. Like I if I'm thinking about ego, I'm thinking about humility. It truly has nothing to do with killing bugs.
All right, yeah. So I'm saying outside of
Yeah. If we were to talk about that, trying to be humble, trying to be respectful in conversation with other people, like that's where I think ego in terms of this. Like I said, it's a completely separate conversation.
okay, yeah, no, that's all I was asking. What things in your life, or what things in life do you think changes when you get rid of ego, or apart from that mentality? And you're saying it'll lead to being more humble and potentially you'll be more respectful in conversations.
Yeah, I think your interaction with other people just in general go more, and it's not even about it's not about you thinking I need to be more humble in order for my interactions to go well. It's just a different outlet.
Interessante. Do we have any other perspectives on the podcast? Ghost, it sounds like you just think Tyson was full of baloney. Too many punches to the head. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't say that.
I don't condone
Redacted.
that train of thought, but I don't see a connection to ego at all either. I just that whole take about the bugs and I don't like to kill bugs. That just annoys me because if you got a damn hornet swarming around your head trying to sting you or do whatever, you're not going to be with that gentle, oh, we got to let them survive. If you have to deal with bed bugs and you could call in the exterminator, you're not going to not call an exterminator because bed bugs have to survive too. Like, that whole mindset is more, it's like a convenience thing. If it's convenient for you not to kill the bugs, then you won't. But otherwise, it just comes up.
There still is a point that like talking about myself, and you're bringing up a point. Like a hornet swarms in my head, I'm probably trying to kill it. But there's still
There's not mess around with the hornet.
There still was a point where it didn't matter. Like if it was an ant or a spider near a door, I'll be more inclined to step on it when I was younger versus now I'll try to pick it up with a napkin and put it out the door. So just because there's some situation where you will take the action of trying to kill something doesn't mean that your outlook can't change in general about the approach.
Okay, I agree with you on that, but Tyson was saying, like, the dude asked him what if there's a ant nest or ant problem, and you said, God will deal. That's that you miss me with that. But I mean, you do have a good point in that, and even though I don't agree with this take, like if I see a spider just chilling in the corner, I won't kill it just because. Now, if it gets up in my space, then it's a different story. But
There you go.
I just think it's the ego thing is really stretching it.
It sounds more like a question of insecurity. I think if you use it metaphorically, like a person who is insecure might try to exert dominance to reassure themselves that, yes, I have power over whatever
I don't want to stop you, but
imagine how insecure you gotta be to flex on something.
that's not your take. Your take sounds wilder than Tyson's take. Insecurity.
I mean, I do see.
I'm saying, like,
but I think people
I gotta be insecure because there's a cockroach by my door. What?
No.
No, I see what he's saying.
I'm saying killing bugs or exerting dominance.
Most people kill bugs, by the way, out of fear. I just want to point that out, but that's neither here nor there.
But people are afraid of scaring. People are afraid of, like, deathly afraid of certain bugs or whatever.
Yeah, arachnophobia.
They'll sooner run than get close enough to kill it.
Oh yeah, that's true. You're right.
No, I mean, I don't know. I think, in metaphorically speaking, if you're stepping on something to make yourself feel bigger, I feel like perhaps that is the link between ego and killing bugs. I don't know.
I feel like you're a borderline sociopath if you go through that route. Cause
I mean,
he's saying it's like subconscious though.
Yeah, it might be on a subconscious level. It's just saying, like, I have the control.
The ant bully.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
But like on a subconscious level, it's like just being mean or just making yourself feel bigger than anything else, and having that control to say, if I don't like you, I can get rid of you, type of thing. But yeah, I don't know.
Do y'all think this would have been a better analogy? Question mark. I don't know if it was an analogy. It would have made more sense if we were talking about like interactions with other humans. Like once you let go of ego, you'll no longer feel the need to like bully people or be mean to people.
That's honestly where I thought he was going at first, but
yeah,
it kind of
even if he had made the connection with like animals, like pets, because it's a higher level of sentience.
But
involved in this.
Now I'm getting back to the goofiness. But once you achieve that enlightenment, everything is equal, from the smallest bug to the mightiest man.
But I think that's the point.
It's not. Let's not get. See, it was all one person. There's always one person.
But
what did you say?
There's always that one guy. And salute to Tyson if he really believes that. But
no, but
That's the dumbest take ever. By the way.
I think that speaks to the point though, because it's not just a bug. It's something smaller than you that you could potentially treat as smaller than you, but you have the option to not do that as well. You have the option to just let it live.
So I guess the thing for you, because we don't want to stay too long. There's a threshold.
Bugs are not level.
Yeah, there's a threshold for you, Ghost. Like, at a certain point, a bug is just no way in shape or form. It cannot correlate to how you would treat a human. That's it.
I mean, yeah, there's a threshold in that. I'm not gonna go out and just randomly kill a bug because I can, because it's not on the level of human. But just in general, threshold or not, you can't equate a bug to a human. You can't equate an animal to a human. It's nothing.
Well, okay, but we always say
about dogs like.
But we always
you'd rather say the dog over a human.
We always say he's so gentle he wouldn't kill a fly or he wouldn't hurt a bug. And to be a Mike Tyson, we clearly know that he can pretty much beat up anybody he wants to.
He could punch your face off.
Exactly. So the idea is that him being someone who wouldn't hurt a fly now is a significance that he even though you might be weaker than him, or anything might be weaker than him, or anyone, he's not gonna necessarily just hurt you, or to big himself up.
That makes a lot of sense.
I thought that's where he was going.
That's a fine point, but if he had said that, but he didn't.
I like the fact that we got here, because I kind of didn't see that originally at all either. But yeah, it makes sense.
By the way, this is completely unrelated.
Yeah, let's have this
like at one point we had a conversation, and I think Tyson was fighting some other older fighter. It was like some kind of event. It wasn't a serious thing. This was a couple years ago.
Like last year.
One of y'all, or might have been a couple of y'all, mentioned that you could take Tyson in a fight.
Yes, Sirski. And
I feel like Ace, you said something too.
Hey man, as strong as the brother is, I think time is the stronger fighter. It's always going to be the situation. That's just what it is. And if you actually saw that fight, let me not before Mike Tyson somehow hears this. Anyway, yeah, no, like I said, I like how we got here. I didn't think we actually find like I don't know. It's interesting to me. And I'd like to end on the fact that we were mentioning. Actually, one. I have a question because and I want to get off this, but my brain works. He kind of got away from it real quick when the guy that was talking to him kind of rebutted it. But like, is it a fact that like do we believe that like literally every organism in this world has a place, and if you got rid of it, the world would be destroyed? Like, are ants really? What environment?
Ants, I think that's true. I don't know if I would say the world is destroyed, but I will say that a lot of things would be thrown out of balance.
Oh yeah, the balance, because the predators that eat
ants, wasps or something. It might be wasps that contribute little.
Oh yeah. There's maybe not ants, but there are some things out there that.
A couple of.
I feel like people said mosquitoes as well, but I also feel like people don't necessarily have the.
Yeah, they just say
the capability of really scaling up a model.
Yeah, mosquitoes definitely got it. Like,
how you count?
That's my point. Like, they think that mosquitoes could be.
Especially because the thing about it, the easiest argument, and sometimes the only argument you can make, is that if you get rid of that, then the thing that eats that thing will die out. But with a lot of these bugs, the thing that eats a mosquito, there's other things it can eat. It might impact the environment. It might impact the environment, but
it's a population. Like, every population it has, or it finds a balance.
Yeah.
So, like, there's that, and then there's but the problem, the wrench that gets thrown into everything is that certain creatures or certain animals or whatever are only in, or have a balance in one ecosystem, That's why you have like invasive species and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're not supposed to be on that part of the world or in that environment.
Yep.
And you know, mess up that environment. But there's so many pockets that, like, if you say, okay, we can eliminate it, maybe mosquitoes are bad here, but it's a bad example, but maybe there's an environment where they're super essential. So if you eliminate them all, somewhere is getting detrimentally impacted. But yeah, I can't really say that it would just, everything would be out of whack or be destroyed or whatever.
I don't know.
He was right. He was right about the bees. I'll give him that. If we gotta say, we definitely gotta save the bees.
Bees are important. But yeah, there are animals that have gone extinct. So
Sure one did.
I mean,
the dodo.
My bad. I didn't mean to get into a conversation about ecology or environment, and whatever you call it, but it is interesting. And we just want to end on we were mentioning the fact that, you know, certain bugs that you wouldn't like swat away or kill. I'm actually, I don't want to say on record, but it's not record. But I forget where I was recently, but we were outside in the line, and there was a wasp flying around, and everyone, you know, was ducking and dodging out the way. I just stood there. If the wasp wanted to come around me, let it be. So I can kind.
Yeah, you say that till you get
So
stung.
I can kind.
It's easy to
I can
talk
fake.
about
I can
it.
fake understand Tyson. Yes. More than other people can. With that being said, is there anything else on this? Please, let's not there be anything else on it. Even though I do like the fact where we went with this. This is Tyson. And if there's nothing else, that's all the main topics. And let's get to the records of the week. Dopest records of the week, our music selections of the week, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, let's get to it. All right. Dope records. Salute to y'all. You know, salute to all the artists that's still here making some dope records or making dope music. Of course, as always, all the record selection, all the song selections will be in the description below. Check them out and check out the playlist that we create. Salute to Ghost. Aside from music, is there any other recommendations that we have for the week?
yeah, I have one. A couple weeks back, I watched that documentary called The Ridge. It's about this multi-level marketing clothing brand slash company. And it's pretty hilarious, and it reminded me of somewhere I used to work.
That's interesting, since I don't ever remember working in retail, but I'm sure it's deeper than that.
Yeah. But no, it has some characters in it. It's classic.
You also typically don't hear documentaries as being funny, so that's also interesting.
Yeah. It's a three episode, I think, miniseries type deal on Amazon Prime. Yeah.
And what's the name? One more time for the good people.
LulaRich. Rich.
Bet. Dope. Let's see. Is there anything else?
Nah, no.
Bet. So if there's nothing else, then I feel like I'm forgetting so much. My apologies if the episode is not, all the way there, but we'll continue getting better, right? If there's nothing else, we always like to ask, is there anything that we're looking forward to coming up in the future? You know what they say about having something to look forward to.
To Halo Infinite. Definitely looking forward to that.
Did you get it? Were you playing the beta?
Yep.
Salute.
I feel like
That's I'm looking forward to playing. I just got Call of Duty Vanguard.
Oh Lord. We're not a video game podcast, but I hate the video game industry today.
I mean, all the talk about recycled titles and all that, but this game is pretty good.
Yeah. You said it, so I don't know how to say it. You gotta find the indie niche ones, if they even exist.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend. To be honest, I feel like this week has blown by.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
I haven't gotten to do my typical stuff. I feel like I haven't been playing guitar a lot. I want to get back to it.
Nothing wrong with that. That's one that a lot of people have consistently with the Weekend Warriors. I don't even know what that really means, but for me, I'm kind of just using one that I use every year around this time of year. You know, it's getting cold out, and it's pretty much the start of, you know, for me at least, bulk up season. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be going a lot harder in the gym, trying to, you know, for all my slim bros out there, you know, bulk up a little.
Oh, I actually have one more thing.
What's up?
I'm looking forward to the Spotify Wrapped.
I saw some people on the timeline talking about that. I was gonna hit you all up about that. Yeah, on the B1B for the podcast, we, you know, do take part in the at this point, like, annual occasion of people going through their Spotify Wrap and, you know, just dissecting all of the content and music that they consumed throughout the year, and just kind of looking at it. Not nothing too big, not nothing too special, but yeah, I'm always curious to know what people consumed, even though a lot of people, it's kind of basic. Like, if your wrap up or rap, whatever it's called, is Drake, Post Malone, just whoever the most popular R&B artist at the time, I wouldn't post mine if I were you, but that's just me. So yeah, let's look forward to that coming soon. Yeah, dope. And now, what we also like to do, the quote / you know, warm advice of the week. And honestly, I don't have anything too. I mean, I'm not allowed to say this for the rest of like the year. I don't have anything too unique, but there's just actually a tweet that I saw somebody post a couple weeks ago, and I fully am on board with it. So this brother said, "If you are struggling with mental health problems, it's okay to talk about it. I'd rather listen to you than attend your funeral." So yeah, I completely co-sign that. Kind of goes in line we were talking about, you know, seeking, not necessarily help, but, you know, someone to talk to when you're dealing with mental health issues. And I'm fully on board with that. And me, and like, straight up personally, if anyone out there, you know, has my line, or even if you don't know me that well and want to hit my DMs, I'm totally down for that. Because the alternative, I don't want to hear about that. Not at all. So yeah.
That was a good one.
With that being said, I think we're all set. I don't think there's anything else. I mean, there's obviously a billion things. I was like going through like this folder folders that I save like topics and stuff that I want to talk about. I have 4 folders worth of topics that I want to talk about. It's kind of nuts. But you know, obviously, you know, in due time we'll get there. And you know, as always, thanks to y'all for putting the work on the podcast and coming in here and doing this podcast thing. And just that, if not more importantly, thank you to any and all listeners. Y'all are super greatly appreciated. You know. And we hoped, you know, to listen to this podcast that you know, gain your perspective, learn something new, or maybe, you know, just find it entertaining. But if you found none of that to be true, then all we have to say is be warned and be filled. Thank you to all. Good night.